Just because you can build a brick building to withstand an earthquake doesn't mean it's a good idea, especially in Los Angeles. Also, brick is not the same thing as reinforced concrete. We have plenty of reinforced concrete buildings in Los Angeles. They're called skyscrapers. This is downtown Los Angeles. Look at that. Look at all those tall buildings that can withstand earthquakes. They're made of steel and reinforced concrete. They sway during an earthquake. If you go to the top of one of these skyscrapers, you will notice that it sways a little. It's a little unnerving. Most of the people commenting on that last video have definitely never been to Los Angeles or even like seen a picture of it. Most of the people who live in LA live in an apartment building like this. This is a dingbat. These were built in like the 60s, 70s. A lot of them have been retrofitted for earthquakes. Built out of wood, out of cheap materials, have those louvered jealousy windows. And this is what the Palisades looked like before it was burned down. See, lots of hills and these same kinds of houses made of wood. So it's a lot to explain about why it's not a good idea. So just bear with me. I'm going to talk about the LA housing shortage. Not a lot of new buildings were being built. This is probably the biggest problem. And the reason for that is because permitting is very difficult in Los Angeles. The requirements are very stringent, especially in regards to earthquakes. It takes months, if not years, to get a permit. And then of course the cost of construction is very high. So while it may be possible to design a building made out of brick and mortar to withstand Los Angeles earthquakes, the material cost and the cost of permitting, because you have to prove that it can withstand these earthquakes, is going to be incredibly prohibitive. It's already prohibitive just with a wooden building. Like, it's already incredibly expensive to get the permitting and the materials and the land to build a regular wood building in LA, like a stick frame house. There's a reason that developers don't do it in LA, and it's because it's so expensive as not to be worth it. And a lot of the time, just building a wood building is so expensive not to be worth it. Like, a developer can't make money on it because they can't sell it for more than it costs to make, even with the high LA prices. That's why every single new build in LA is a luxury property. Now, of course, building permits serve a function, right? They're meant to keep people safe. They're meant to keep buildings safe. They're meant to keep the environment safe. But as a lot of people in LA will tell you, this has gotten out of hand. Like, I live in an apartment building like the one I showed you that would not be allowed to be built the way it is today. The thing is, it survived the Northridge earthquake. It survived a bunch of others. It's fine, but you can't build it today. But most of LA lives in a building like this. So some might argue that the codes are too stringent, unnecessarily stringent. The other thing is, in the Palisades, those are hills, right? There's a lot of other things you have to consider when building on the side of a hill with like sandy soil, where you have to drive pylons deep into the ground in order to create a structure that will withstand earthquakes and mudslides and all of that. And again, very expensive. That's why the Palisades was an expensive area. So basically, cost and permitting make it a bad idea. Okay, so like, should we change the building codes? I think so. I think we should make it easier to build in Los Angeles. I think that would help the housing problems that we have here. Is it gonna happen? I mean, maybe for the people that lost their homes in the fire, but probably not for everyone else. So like, I'm not saying it's a good system. I'm just saying that that's what it is. Like, I'm just telling you the reality of it, and you being like, you should build brick buildings like everyone else. It's not gonna fix it. You're wrong. Talk to an architect and they will tell you that there is no one size fits all dwelling that should be built in all parts of the world. They will tell you that each place has its own specific requirements for what kind of houses you should build, and different cultures have specific requirements for what kind of houses they want. So you have to tailor your building design and materials to the place where you're building. You don't want to build more expensive buildings here, because it's just going to make the housing problem worse, because our problem right now is that buildings are too expensive.